Okay then, girl.
Howdy. Keep it moving!
What's your problem? Hey there, mister.
What's with you then?
I was in the army.
The Viewer Horse Show is very popular on this channel, as it should be when you think about it. Your love of this game, and especially the horses, are what brought you to this channel in the first place. To that end, Arthur and Biscuit are happy to host the 13th annual Viewer Horse Show, even though this channel is only about 3 years old. Biscuit isn't great at math, and Arthur only counts bullets. Let's get started.
Hi there.
If you are new to this channel, greetings. I'm your friendly neighbor Superantonio, and please be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell if you would enjoy seeing more of my Red Dead Redemption 2 content. Abby F. has a Palomino Dapple American Standard bred named Carmel, and she writes, I thought of the name Carmel because the breed kinda reminded me of, well, Carmel. Carmel is a female American Standard bred. I found her on a random stranger. She kicked her past owner and I calmed her down and got her to bonding level 4 in a couple of normal time days. Not as good as the horses you can find early in the game like the White Arabian, but she is good enough for me. I completely understand, Abby. The heart wants what the heart wants, and I always love those Palomino coats. Well done, friend. Alex has a Dutch Warmblood, and he writes, Hi, Superantonio. Alex here, and I prepared a photo for the horse show. Arthur and Jack riding a chocolate roan Dutch Warmblood named Angie, after my favorite song by the Rolling Stones. That is a great song, Alex, and a great band. I think my favorite Rolling Stones song has to be a toss-up between Sympathy for the Devil and As Tears Go By, which really wouldn't make great horse names. And speaking of Dutch Warmbloods, also if what's puzzling you is the nature of my game, to paraphrase Sir Michael Philip Jagger, also known as Mick, I am currently working on a video entitled Boadicea, the case for the Dutch Warmblood. Let's move on. Arthur Morgan has 3 horses for the horse show, starting with the Sandony Black Arabian, named Raven. And then we have the Mahogany Bay Tennessee Walker, named after Arthur's son Isaac. And he writes, Lastly, here's the Blackshire given by Hosea. I didn't want to sell him, so I kept him and named him Arthur Jr. That is a good-looking stable, friend, and I have to say, these are some fine screenshots. Great composition and use of backgrounds. Very dynamic. Well done, friend. Barry from India writes, Howdy, partner. I'm one of your viewers from a little place in the east called India. For the sake of simplicity, you can call me Barry. I hope you are well. I've played Red Dead 2 for hundreds of hours, and one of the greatest thrills about this game continues to be its horses. I just love the horse mechanics and cannot get over how fun it is to roam the wilderness with a trusty steed. One of my fascinations recently have been unique or rare horses, especially the horses of the Vanderlinde gang. It's great that the camp members have unique horses. It made me realize that Arthur should have a unique horse too. And in my opinion, there's no better unique horse to start off with than Arthur's first ever companion in the game, the humble Mahogany Bay Tennessee Walker, with its gorgeous coat. Whilst everyone is still obsessed about the fastest horses and the wildest new outfits, I decided to go back to Arthur's classic gunslinger attire and his OG four-legged friend. I've always called the proud Mahogany Bay Tristan, after one of King Arthur's most trusted knights. This horse showcased great bravery when it decided to trust a complete stranger in Arthur Morgan and venture out with him on that cold, windswept evening up in the snowy mountains. I could never have sold him or abandoned him, and so I ride him as Arthur till the end of days. So attached are a few screenshots from my recent playthrough of Tristan and Arthur. I humbly request you to share this story and showcase all 3 pictures. Happy gaming, and all the best on your future endeavors. Thank you, Barry, for your fantastic screenshots and excellent letter. You can't go wrong with the Mahogany Bay. Well done, friend. Moving on. Bentley has a fine-looking Arthur and one of my favorite horses, and he writes, "Hello, Superantonio. My horse that I am showing is Dappy, named after the coat. She is a dappled black thoroughbred, my favorite horse to use even though it's the 3rd playthrough. I still use this horse. Dappy is a special horse and owns a special place in my heart. But don't tell that to the Missouri Foxtrotter. She will be jealous. Congratulations on 13K. Thank you, friend, and many thanks for sharing your horse and your Arthur with the community." Big Jim has 3 photos, and he writes, "Thank you for your awesome content. Murphy Brood Rescue, a brave, loyal horse, fairly fast, a black Rabicano Tennessee Walker. Always only sells for $1 at the stables. Her name is Lucky Lucy. I got her from a cart driver who kidnapped a family, with the lady still alive, but the other 2 dead in the cart. I like riding a rescue, story mode I don't play online, because there are none being ridden by any other riders in the world, except for the Murphys, whom I always take out to rid the RDR2 world of their evil. My first rescue was a different playthrough when I found a white-faced brown Tennessee Walker. The brood has also abused blue Nakotas, brown Tennessee Walkers, and blanket Appaloosa breeds. These horses retain their normal trot paces and stances. They just have these scars for life. Signed, Big Jim." Thank you, Big Jim. I too am sentimental about those Murphy Brood and Skinner Brothers rescues. Those horses have had hard lives and deserve a little TLC. Let's move on. Dan from the UK writes, "Greetings from England. My name is Dan, and I follow you on Instagram and watch all of your YouTube videos. Thank you, Dan. The horse is a Mustang tiger-striped bay, and is a male, and I named him Spirit. All the best and many blessings." That Tiger Mustang is one of my favorites for John, and it looks like you got one for Arthur. Well done, friend. Let's move on. DonutDouble 616 writes, "Here is Arthur and his silver dapple pinto, Boadicea, overlooking the grizzlies. I got her using the Albert Mason stagecoach method. The silver dapple pinto is my favorite horse in the game. It is fast, it has a beautiful coat, and I think it's Arthur's true horse." I have to agree, friend. I love that silver dapple coat, and she looks great in the snow with that mountain range in the background. Well done, DonutDouble 616. And now I'm craving a donut. What's that about? Let's move on. Drifting Ziggy, a great friend of the channel and very active in the comments, writes, "I love your content and wanted to submit a horse of mine. This is Spitfire, John's Chestnut Morgan. He's brilliant to ride and such a handsome fellow. John really enjoys strapping on the panther saddle and going exploring or galloping across the land. He may not get as much acclaim as a top-tier horse, but he would surprise a lot of people if they only gave him a try. Morgans have a wonderful gait at any speed. I certainly didn't expect to stable a Morgan, and yet here we are. Keep up the great work." Thank you, Ziggy. You are right about those Morgans. They don't get enough love. Always overshadowed by the Hungarians and the Foxtrotters, and of course, the Arabians. Those horses are so snobby. It's just like being in high school again. What can you do? Let's move on. Eric V has a silver dapple Pinto Missouri Foxtrotter. You know how much I love that horse. And he writes, "This here is Hlamurai. Hlamurai is the name of King Arthur's steed. Some books describe the meaning of the name as Arthur's horse." Well done, Eric. I do like it when names match. It pleases my inherent sense of symmetry. Looking good, let's move on. Channel moderator Lil Too Nasty, also known as Gerald from the Great White North, contributed an assortment of his favorite online horses, and he writes, "Here's my silver Cladruber, Mercury in Annesburg. I named him as such because the Cladrubers were added to the game for the trader role, and Mercury is the Roman messenger of the gods and the god of commerce, and also because of his color, just like the element." Next up are some photos of my steel gray Breton, Joan of Dark, which I bought mainly to catch up on the bounty roll in Red Dead Online, with one of the images showing a bounty on her back outside of the Valentine Sheriff's office. Of the three, my favorite image is the one of Joan standing amidst the wintry forest in silhouette. Here is my Red Dead Online character posing in Halloween attire next to my black Tavero, Missouri Foxtrotter. Meant to send you this for Halloween, but it was too late by the time I took it. But anyways, enjoy. And here is my character posing in front of my skewbald gypsy cob, who I named Gaia after the Greek Titan who symbolized Mother Earth in the harsh winter landscapes of the Grizzlies West, whilst carrying the legendary bounty, the Wolfman. And finally, we have a picture of Gerald in his camp with his Christmas tree. And it's an indication of how long I've been holding on to these photos. What can you do? It's Christmas in July. Thank you, Gerald, for all you do for the channel. Let's move on. Glennis C. has actual real-life horses to share, and she writes, "Tino is an Arabian about 10 years old and not very smart and afraid of everything." The second is a very sweet mare I call Dixie, very laid back and nothing bothers her. I think she looks like a piebald Topiano Hungarian half-bred. I can see that, Glennis. Thank you so much for sharing your horses with the channel. You remind all of us what this game is all about. When all is said and done, each of us has an inherent love for horses, animals, and the Old West. And also shooting things and blowing things up with dynamite arrows. But that is another video entirely. Let's move on. Hortus, a great friend of the channel, very active in the Premier chats, has 2 online horses. Here is Ariana, a Norfolk Roadster. And then we have Leah, a steel gray Breton. Very solid horses, Bretons, and I'm glad we have some more online horses to spice up the viewer horse show. Well done, friend. Let's move on. Channel member at the Blackwater level, Jenny L, was kind enough to share her horses. And she writes, "Splashlock because she's a very awesome horse that you can't tame nor buy." Next is Black Diamond, a black Arabian. This is my brindle thoroughbred named Gunsmoke. The name just fits this horse for Arthur. And here is my red chestnut Arabian named Ruby because the name just fits her. Last beautiful horse is my white Arabian named Avalanche. Why the name? Because of her snow-white coat, of course, and she's in the snow when you take her. I have many favorite horses in Red Dead Redemption 2. My most favorite is the ones you can tame, but there's ones that I like otherwise too. Enjoy, and I hope these help you for your horse show video. Thank you, Jenny. We all know of the eternal struggle of so many horses and so little stable space. Shout out to Jenny L from Team Blackwater. Thank you for your support and for sharing your wonderful horses. The Lofus, very active in the Premier chats, has a silver dapple Pinto Missouri Foxtrotter, and they write, "The name is Moonlight, named after Moonstone Pond, where I got her, but mainly after my favorite song by Blaze Foley, the best singer-songwriter of whom you've never heard. This picture came after I randomly required a second PTHH and decided to flex with a photo. I named her Drella, after Andy Warhol's nickname. My YouTube nom de plume is the Lofus. Cheers, SA. You're top shelf. Thank you, friend, and I do love this picture. Seeing double, Andy would have approved. Moving on. Lucas has an impressive selection of horse photos and horse names, starting with Boaz, a gray Overo American paint. And then we have Eastwood, a Bay Rhone Ardennes. Here is Gin, the Wild Bay Mustang. And Marty Robbins' Strawberry Rhone Ardennes, named after Marty due to his song Strawberry Rhone. Rachel, the Seal Brown Thoroughbred, of course. Roosevelt, the Raven Black Shire. Tobacco, the Piebald Tobiano Hungarian Half-Bred. And Whiskey, the Tiger-Striped Bay Mustang. Looking good, Lucas, and I have to say these are some great photos. Excellent composition and posing. You have a photographer's eye. Well done, friend. Mr. 27 has 4 horses and a lot of thoughts on the game, which I of course approve of. And he writes, "Hello, Antonio. I want to apologize for the late entry, but I had to recollect many photographs of my last playthrough. That was also my first 100% playthrough. Congratulations, friend. Well done. Also, if you don't mind, I am going to submit more than one horse due to my infinite love towards them, despite some of their disadvantages. Anyways, my first horse in chronological order of acquaintance was also my favorite horse in the game, which is Albert Mason's Silver Dapple Missouri Foxtrotter, which I named Felina in reference to my favorite episode from my favorite TV series, which is Breaking Bad. And yes, I did spend my time trying to get Arthur his rightfully deserved Legend of the East outfit, but it was worth it just because of that beautiful photo outside of Chapter 3's camp. The next horse is my surprisingly brave White Arabian that never runs scared from a battle nor threw me off. She is named after the horse of the Lone Ranger, which is Silver, but since I am from Spain, that's the explanation for the probably odd hour when I sent this, I named her Plata, which is the direct translation. In Chapter 4, I changed Plata for a free Black Arabian, using the street method that I learned thanks to you. He's named after the Transformers character Ravage, because of their similar colors, and apart from the better stats, he was much inferior compared to Plata due to his lack of bravery, which resulted in him abandoning me more than once. So, as the Transformers character Soundwave would say, Plata superior, Ravage inferior. And finally, in the epilogue, I use Buell, which is probably the most loved horse after Biscuit. No offense intended towards Biscuit. And as you can see in the picture, John is trying to wear the same color combination as Buell with his saddle. I hope that I didn't steal too much time from the other beautiful horses, and to all of the people who will watch the video. Hola, vaqueritos, como esté? Anyway, that was all I had to say. Have a great day. Very well said, friend, and I have to say those are some good-looking horses. Very cinematic. Neil also has some great-looking photos, and he writes, "Greetings, I'm Neil from South Africa. I live in Boshoff, a small town in the west of the Free State province. This is my noble steed, Rotag. He is the Mahogany Bay, Tennessee Walker. Rotag means fire or born of fire in the Meskwaki Native American language. I like to think that the name was suggested to Arthur by Charles, since the name of his horse, Taima, is the Meskwaki word for thunder. I initially wanted to get a Hungarian half-bred for Arthur, since his previous horse, Boadicea, was possibly the liver chestnut Hungarian half-bred found in the game files. But I decided to keep this horse because he has certainly earned his saddle. He has proven himself around wolves and grizzly bears more than once. He is strong and courageous. What more do you need for Arthur? Not to mention that very unique and beautiful coat. I used the ranch cutter saddle with the deep roper stirrups. I love your channel and content. Keep it up. Thank you, Neil. I have said it before, but you can't go wrong with the Mahogany Bay Tennessee Walker, Arthur's first horse, and that means your first horse. In many ways, your best horse. Looking good, friend. Let's move on. Nicola B has 3 horses to share, and she writes, "Hello, superantonio. I hope we can send more than one photo. You're getting 3 from me anyway. I have taken over 100 photos of horses in Red Dead Redemption 2, so 3 is nothing. For my first entry to your horse show, I present Xerxes and Arthur Morgan galloping on the beach of Flatiron Lake. Xerxes is the bay Turkoman stolen from the Braithwaite Manor. I picked the name as Xerxes was a powerful Persian king who ruled back in the mid to late 400s and was successful on invading numerous countries and subsequently ruling those, which I thought was highly appropriate for the equine partner of Arthur. Overall, the horse provided a good partner, although was rather skittish when it came to predators." My second entry is Hidalgo, an American paint, shown here with Arthur Morgan high up in the heartlands as a thunderstorm rolled in. Hidalgo was a wild horse broken in Big Valley and named after a horse from a movie of the same name, who looked remarkably like this one, albeit that horse was supposedly a mustang. In that movie, the horse took on Arabian horses in a grueling cross-desert race in Arabia, during which Hidalgo almost dies, but finds reserves of courage to complete the race and win. My own Hidalgo was the bravest horse I've ever owned in the game, and I love horses, so have had many, many horses during my various playthroughs. He would trample alligators, charge through packs of wolves, keep his head around cougars and bears, and never, ever let me down in battle, not even against the nightfolk. I loved him so much I couldn't bear for him to be the horse Arthur went out on. So as with the movie, I took him back to Big Valley, removed his saddle, and walked away, leaving him free to return to the wild from whence he came. Last but not least, I offer you this photo of Arthur Morgan and Pi, a Hungarian half-bred, watching the sun on their last morning. Yes, I cried at the significance of it. Pi's name is because he is a piebald, equestrian term for any black and white horse in the UK. He was the horse that was waiting for Arthur on his return from Guarma, and our first ride together was to stand unshaken. Not the bravest to carry Arthur into battle, but was swift enough to shake pursuers and generally did a decent job until the end. Without a doubt, Red Dead Redemption 2 is the only game I have played that I have had such an emotional roller coaster ride. The beauty of the place, the well-animated horses who act like horses, the many, many interesting things to do and find will keep me playing this game for a long time to come. I did briefly go online, but really didn't like it. Story mode for me all the way. Kind regards, Nicola B. Very well said, Nicola, and excellent name choices. I agree with your online opinions. It's just not as much fun to me as story mode. I find I'm very selfish. I don't like sharing my sandbox or my toys, and I would rather explore this world as Arthur than a new character, even if that character is a digital version of myself. Looking good, friend. Let's move on. Moderator and a great friend of the channel, Odog, who you have probably met in the premiere chats, has a couple of horses to share, and he writes, "The Amber Champaign, Missouri Foxtrotter is named Red Plucky Buckshots, after one of my brothers whose nickname is Pluck. He was a track star in his day, and it just fits, since they both haul ass when scared. LOL. The Hungarian half-bred is also a scaredy cat, He's the first HH I've had that spooks as easy as an Arabian. Odog also writes, I didn't include Cerberus. I agree, friend, that bronze Turkoman is popular. More popular than Biscuit, I would argue, because he is much easier to obtain. Be sure to say, hey there, mister, to Odog if you see him in the comments or the chat. He's very friendly and a great resource for Red Dead Redemption 2. Thank you, Odog. Let's move on. The old trapper has 3 horses, and he writes, Hey there, mister. I am the old trapper, and I am sending you these 3 pictures for the horse show. The first is with Arthur on my first playthrough. He just had a hog-killing time. He is sad about poor old Hamish, but not too sad. The second is also from my first playthrough. I had gotten the Silverdapple MFT, who I named Moonshine, while helping Albert Mason. And here Arthur and her are back at the Heartlands Overflow, where Albert took his photos. It is the last time Arthur came here. And so that I don't end on a sad note, here is Arthur on my second playthrough on Bear, the Turkoman from Chapter 3. I named him Bear because it suits Arthur, seeing as the name Arthur originally referred to just that animal. Arthur is also wearing the hide of that legendary bear that Hosea turned him onto, and his belt buckle and boots are fashioned from the same beast. Truly, a bear among men. Keep up the great vids, partner. Signed, The Old Trapper. Excellent choices, friend, and very well said. Thank you. I also feel I should mention that the old trapper entitled his photos. This one is a bear among men. This one is a hog-killing time. And here is Moonshine. Well done, friend. Let's move on. Paul H. has a Dark Bay Andalusian, and he writes, I humbly submit for your consideration Arthur's Dark Bay Andalusian named Inigo Maximus. The Andalusian is my favorite horse breed in real life and in-game as well. Being a pure Spanish horse, I named Arthur's majestic Andalusian stallion after 2 of my favorite fictional Spaniards. The vengeful master fencer Inigo Montoya from The Princess Bride, and Maximus Decimus Meridius, commander of the armies of the North, general of the Felix legions, and loyal servant to the true emperor Marcus Aurelius, also known as the Spaniard, from one of my all-time favorite movies, Gladiator. Gladiator is a great movie, Paul, arguably one of Russell Crowe's best. Also, Oliver Reed's last film. I will have my vengeance in this life or the next has to be one of my favorite movie quotes of all time. Never really had a chance to use it in real life. I'm not a very vengeful person, regrettably. Let's move on. Channel moderator Serena, the Lady in Red from Star Hearts, has a selection of her favorite online horses. Here is her black Overo Mustang, who Serena named Star Beauty, and what a beauty she is. And Star Moon, the Blue Roan Missouri Foxtrotter, sensing a theme here, Star Hearts, Star Moon, Star Beauty. The Buckskin Brindle Missouri Foxtrotter, who Serena calls Midnight Moon. Sassy Savannah, a chestnut Tavero Mustang. Very sassy indeed, much like her mom. A dapple gray Missouri Foxtrotter called Misty Star. Amber Rose, the Marble Sabino Criollo. Chalet, a piebald gypsy cob. I do love the gypsy cobs. And finally, the iconic and always popular White Arabian, who Serena named Snow Queen. Serena is part of the first 100. She has been with the channel since we started, and we are very lucky she found us. Serena is very active on Red Dead Online as the Lady in Red, and just finished an LA Confidential playthrough on her own channel, Star Hearts. So many stars. What's that about? Thank you, Serena. Looking good as always, and I will always be grateful for your views, comments, and help in the chats. You are a founding member of Team Super Antonio, and I value your friendship. Don't tell Biscuit. Mike and Charlie from Dao Faziran 77 has 2 photos, and he writes, "Here is my daughter Charlie's horse, Marshmallow. She wanted to let you know that about a month ago, she rode a real White Arabian, since we noticed that Arthur was riding a White Arabian again as well. She loves horse riding. And this is one of my backup horses, Oreo, taking a relaxing evening walk with his friend. I found him southeast of Hanging Dog Ranch. I like him because he reminds me of the horse that the Native American rides at the beginning of Jeremiah Johnson in the Frozen River scene, even though that horse had a white face. Memory can be funny like that sometimes. Well, anyways, best of luck, my friend, and we shall see you again at 20K. Thanks again, buddy, Mike." Thank you, Mike, and shout out to Charlie, who you may remember from the last horse show, where she submitted this drawing. Just look how much she's improved. Look at the lines and the elegant musculature. I couldn't draw a horse this well. Well done, Miss Charlie. You should have a notebook like Arthur and start drawing everything you see. Also, Marshmallow is a great name. I do love Rice Krispie treats. I could eat one right now. Oh, and this is a good photo too. Well done, Mike. Let's move on. This video is sponsored by Super Antonio Part 2, my second channel where I play every other video game I enjoy that isn't Red Dead Redemption 2. Like and subscribe, link below.
You can calm down.
Well, friends, we survived another viewer horse show. 13,000 subs. What's that about? Thank you, all of you. Those of you who have been here since game release, and those of you who are on your first playthrough. I'm glad you found this channel. Red Dead Redemption 2 literally changed my life. It is my favorite game, my best game, and the only game I return to consistently. I have been fascinated with this open world since Chapter 1, and I know you are as well. It was great to see all of your horses. Don't tell Biscuit. I'm Super Antonio. Thanks for watching. I appreciate your views. Like, comment, share, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell for daily Red Dead Redemption 2 content, and we shall meet again. Further on down the trail.
Okay. Well, thank you, Mr. Morgan.
Well. We was innocent bystanders, and that which we weren't innocent of, well, we most surely were ignorant of.